Guys, we've been working on this sculpture for over 6 months, and while it's gone amazing, we have hit a few snags along the way. We haven't filmed everything, but we filmed what might be the most interesting part, a new technique that I had never done before, but it turned out phenomenal in the end. We may have had one hiccup along the way, but check this out. In this video, we're gonna use a process called hydroforming to make the waterman's oar. So Alan has cut both of these plasma cut out of, I would say 11 gauge mild steel, and getting ready to TIG them all up in preparation for an inflation technique that we're gonna try on this. So this is the start. He's gonna carefully TIG weld masterfully around that, and we'll see what happens. This is on the thicker side of doing this technique, but also we don't need a ton of shaping, so. Ton of shaping? Yep, those would be words that I would regret later on. Okay, so here's where we're at. Alan has TIG welded both halves of that sheet metal together. We've put a pipe in here with a quick connect on this end. Alan has that all sealed up, right? Perfect. We're gonna put this in the forge, get it hot, and then we have this set up here, which will hook to our hose and hook to there. And that just has a ball valve so we can control the amount of air. So we'll see what happens here. Go ahead and stick that in the forge, Alan. I think it's gonna be fine. We'll see. See, we would, and now we're ready to put air to this for the first time. I had no idea how much air this would take since this was the first time. Well, I did a little too much. Worked a little too good. We overinflated the ore, and so we set out right away to begin flattening and taking some of that overshaping out of it. I thought this would solve the problem, but it didn't quite. You'll see our final solution here in a minute. So now we're gonna try hitting it with a large piece of wood on top. Put that on top. Yeah, hit that pretty hard. More on my end, yep. Stop. And while the shape was close, it still wasn't quite right, so we would do something that would risk ruining it altogether. We put a piece of wood on top and went over to the Monster 200-ton press to see if we could press some of that crown out. At this point, the press turned into a fire-breathing dragon, and while I wanted to just simply press some of the crown out, I would wind up flattening this all the way, which could potentially ruin the ore by cracking the welds and not allowing it to inflate again. Pressing wood texture into it. That's how you get it wood grain looking.
I think that's the least important.
Alright, we're gonna go again. I gotta try better to control the air input on this one. Again, this is our first time doing it. All right, here we go. This time we did have a slight leak where one of the welds cracked, but this actually worked to our advantage as we got the perfect amount of inflation. It was slightly thicker at one spot where it got hotter, but I was able to quickly work this out with the mallet and get it to the perfect size. And now I'm trying the second thing that wouldn't work on this project, which is inflating the transition from the flat of the oar to the round part of the handle. It kind of transitions in a beautiful sculptural way here. I thought that by heating this and inflating it with air, it would inflate that hot section and make it perfect. But honestly, all it did was inflate the rest of the oar a little bit and did little to nothing to that section. Quick little tune-up and we're off to our way to finish up the rest. It's time to cut off that pipe and the quick connect air fitting that I used to make a quick, safe connection to the hot metal. And you'll see how we welded this up. We flattened the pipe a little bit and tucked it inside the oar, and Alan welded all the way around it, and you can see it slide out there. Hit it.
Looks to be.
This wasn't working quite as fast as what I wanted, so off to the Champion Trip Hammer to really open this up quickly and bring that transition down.
Terrible, needs a little refinement.
So Jared and I would tune this up with the wood mallet over a special stake that fits in the anvil. Once we got it close, I grabbed a regular smithing hammer and worked that seam out some and worked it to a better, more true round.
Yeah. That's why we use steel for hammers.
That's really freaking cool though.
Yeah.
No, flat, like all the way across it.
Actually kind of dish that down with this tool too.
It's always rewarding to see a project come together, to see the form come to life, and in this case, see a new technique pay off in huge dividends on this, as it was really the perfect way to make this oar. Now that the flat water side of the oar was done, it's time to move on to the round handle. We're going to forge this out of two sections of pipe. Both are going to taper into one another to form this oar. It's a bit over life size, about 15%, and so we're going to make this oar 10 feet long. And I'm always looking for opportunities to teach the guys new stuff, so in this case, I'm going to teach Chase and Alan how to forge pipe. Chase is taking the first pass here and he's getting a feel for forging pipe. The way to do this is to do it really hot, be patient, spin it very quickly and hit it with light blows. Just keep spinning it. The pipe deforms, but it also upsets and gets thicker as you forge it. Takes a lot of heat to taper pipe. Lots of heats in the forge, lots of times on the power hammer, but eventually you can pull a really long, graceful taper out of pipe if you're patient and keep spinning it and working it round.
Take another 8.
Chase is working on the thicker section now. And one thing to note, this die is 60 degrees on this V, so that when the top die hits, it forms a perfect triangle and works all three sides evenly at the same time.
Well,
Here's the finished ore, guys. It's 10 foot long because this entire sculpture is about 15% oversized. We have a temporary brace in here just to hold it while we're working on his hand and his whole arm. But man, this has been a fun project. I'm glad we could bring you in for this short part of it. Hopefully in the future, we can show projects like this entirely from start to finish. That happens by your support, by hitting that subscribe button, commenting, and liking this video. As always, thanks for joining us. We hope to catch you on the next one.